How you doing, guys? My name is the real Mr. Marcelle, aka Malcolm Marcelle, aka the what? Your favorite loan officer?
AKA,
Today is episode 7 of the Journey podcast. If you're new to this podcast or this series, this YouTube series, I want to say thank you for following, thank you for watching. In this series, we're going to be taking a journey together, a journey of helping us. It's you know what? I'm starting to finally get direction. Self-development. That's what this series is about. Self-development, and you're developing yourself in every aspect of your life: your health, your wealth, your finances, your relationship, and of course, your business. And today we are going to talk about something I read in the Expert Secrets. If you're new to this podcast, you probably don't know, but I read about 20 pages a day. And I've been doing that for, I think 20 pages has been, I want to say a little over a week now. I normally just do 10. But the Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, he says this: how much you make, how much money you make, and how much money you are able to make as a business is a direct relationship to how simple you can make the process for your customers. And that just was like, wow. I had to stop and think about it and really dive into what he's saying. So most businesses, most business owners or entrepreneurs, we just want to make money, right? And then we started linking it that, hey, the more people I help, the more money I can make, right? Because if you can help hundreds of people, then technically you can make more money. Now, is it realistic? Probably not for most people, because not everyone is a good fit for your business. But he takes it a step further and says how simple you can make your process. And that's exactly what I was talking about in yesterday's episode about what I realized when I was doing my loans, that I wasn't making the process simple enough for people to want to actually go through with doing applications. I was giving them barriers. And when you give people barriers, now, first of all, most people, when they buy in a house, most of them are already afraid of the process. It's overwhelming. And then I'm asking them to do all this stuff. Get me these documents. Do this, fax it, email it. And to me, I thought that wasn't bad. I'm coaching you through it, blah, blah, blah. But I spoke to my wife and she was like, Malcolm, that's a barrier. Because now I'm having you look up these documents. Sometimes they might just been on your phone, or you have them in person. Now you got to go find a scan. A lot of people don't have printers. So I was putting barriers in front of people, not even realizing that is what's probably going to affect, not probably, is affecting how many applications I can do. Why don't you figure out a way around that and make the process even simpler for them, that now it's not an obstacle. This is just walking in the park. It's like working out. When you work out, most people, they see it as such a big thing. Oh my God, I gotta go work out, blah blah blah. But if you break the steps down and say, hey, just put on your shoes and just walk. You can walk around your house. Or you haven't got to put your shoes on. Just break it down to simpler steps. And then without realizing it, they're still doing the workout, but it's easier for them. And you're removing that barrier. So the key is to make it as simple as possible. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing a funnel, make it as simple as possible. If you have a sales process, make it as simple as possible. And it also helps other people who you're training, because now it's easier for them to understand the method. What do you want to say?
Kiss. Keep
Oh,
it
I thought you was asking for one. Keep it simple, stupid. I love that. Kiss. And that's what you should focus on anything you're doing, any type of business that you have. You want to keep it as simple as possible. So when you're doing it, for example, a really good thing is if you're introducing your business, your concept to someone new, you don't want to overwhelm them. Oh, I do this. My business does all these amazing things. No, you only have a limited amount of time to capture someone's attention. So in that amount of time, you want to make it as simple as possible. You want to explain to them what you're doing and how you can be effective and how you can help their business grow in as simple as possible, as layman terms. That's another thing that we spoke about, that I read in the book, that a lot of times another barrier is the terminology that people use. If I'm in the mortgage industry, I can use V8 loans. I can talk about conventional. I can talk about Federal Housing Administration. And if you're not in that world, you'll be like, what are you talking about? Because you don't understand the lingo. Same thing with tech. gigabytes and memory space and cloud storage and all these other stuff. If I'm not in tech, I'll be like, what are you talking about? That right there is creating a barrier. So the language that you use can create a barrier that pushes away your ideal client from working with you without you even knowing it. And that's why you have to keep it simple. So keeping it simple works in all aspects of your business. It works in you just talking to your clients, you explaining your product, you actually making your product who it's going to fit. You can keep, you know, like that one? When they're making the product for the people it's supposed to help, they have to keep it simple.
Okay, got it.
I said fit, like I'm thinking of clothing. So you want to keep it as simple as possible. And the best way to do that is by looking at your steps and seeing what steps can I cut out, what steps can I eliminate, what step is redundant, what steps is just too much. And for me, that was my process of how I took in applications for pre-approval. So now I'm revamping my whole system and I'm going to do it so a link is going to be sent out where they can download a link, they could download an app and fill everything out from their phone. From the comfort of their phone, they could put in their credit score, their estimated credit score. They could give me permission to run credit. They could scan their documents from their phone. Just take a picture of it, boop, scan it. So I'm making it simpler so they don't have any barriers. Hold on. Sorry about that. It's about 1 o'clock when I'm shooting this, and obviously some planes are just flying around. So train or the plane. Ooh, train plane. So I'm looking at what I can do to keep it simpler for my clients. So it's easier for them to do a transaction with me because there's no barriers in place. There's nothing stopping them, nothing confusing them, nothing scaring them away from getting a mortgage. And if I'm doing this, that means you can do it. Just look at your process. Simple as that. And as I said before, I'm going to share with you guys how it's affected me and what's going to hopefully increase my closing rate. So, from my last webinar, after doing it, we had about, if I remember correctly, we had about 52 people actually schedule calls with me. And based off those numbers, I had about 4% closing rate. Those are people, 4% of the people that I spoke with actually moved forward with the process of trying to get pre-approved. Now, granted, I spoke to a lot more people who, of the 52, who actually said, yeah, Malcolm, I want to do it. I'm going to send you docs. Let's go for it. I can't wait. You're a perfect person. But they didn't do it. And it took me a while to understand why. Because I'm like, I know that I delivered good information. I made the process simple, easy, and fun. And I was personable. I was myself. I was not no bullshit. I wasn't trying to sell them. I was giving them good information. But we had a good connection and we had rapport, which is key when you're talking with your clients. But like I said, in my head, getting the documents and stuff, that wasn't a barrier that you needed to overcome. I thought it was simple. Just scan it, send it out, you know? Or if you can't scan it, you can fax it. Or if you can't do that, you can drop it off at the office. Like there's multiple steps or multiple places that you can go to get the documents, right? To get me the documents. And in my head, it was, let's go. What's the holdup? But after talking to Giselle, talking to my marketing coach, Robert, and they were like, Malcolm, that's a barrier. And especially after reading X-Ray Secrets, I'm like, Russell Brunson is telling me it's a barrier. And I was not seeing it. So this is one of the reasons why I believe my closing rate was so bad because I gave my clients barriers saying, hey, I need all these documents and let me know when you send it. That legit was it. Let me know when you send it. Not, hey, I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow. Does that work? What time should I call you? Like my follow up was horrible. It was you just let me know when you send it, and then about a week later, I would call them like, hey, I didn't receive your documents yet. Is everything all right? But now I can say, okay, no problem. Here's the app, download it, I'll wait for you, and you can start filling out now. And then when I call them at the end of the call, I'll be like, hey, okay, you got most of the stuff in. What time tomorrow works good for you so we can finish the application, or can you finish it by yourself? Either one, they give you a time, and then tomorrow when I call them, I ask them the same thing. Hey, I noticed you didn't finish the whole application. What did something happen? Did you need help with scanning the documents? Because you can do it in the app. Because a lot of people don't realize that in the application you can actually scan the documents, or you can even upload the files that if they're on your phone, you can upload it straight there. What I'm going to do though is if that's still a problem, why don't we fill out the application together? Yes, I will personally fill out the application on your behalf and ask you the questions, fill it out. That's a 1003 form. We do this anyway, but in our head, it's 1, 2, 3. But for clients, it can be very intimidating to have to fill this all out by themselves. So with the application, I could do it from sitting while they're on the phone, boop, 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 just putting the information in, and it's removing the barriers. And not only am I doing that, I'm giving them great customer service. Malcom followed up with me. He asked me what was a good time to call, and now he called me. So I'm doing my part. So it's like the reciprocation. Like when you're doing good and helping people, they want to step up because they made a promise that, hey, no problem, Malcom, I will have this done this date. So now I'm not pushing you. I'm just checking in to see if you did what you said you were going to do. You see the difference? It's a different psychology, and this makes people want to work. It makes them want to continue because people don't intentionally try to be liars. So if they say they're going to do something, most people actually want to keep their word. And now I'm just making it easier for them because I'm like, hey, I know you said that things happen, life happens. Let's do the application together while we're on the phone, and I'll help you do it. And what is this doing for Malcom? It's also allowing me to increase the amount of pre-approvals I do. But even more important than that, now I'm helping more people. And if you remember what I said in the beginning of this video, if you want to become rich, you have to figure out how you can help more people. The more people you help, the more money you will make. So my process is easier, and I'm helping more people because my process is easier. Does that make sense? So that's my tip for today. Make your process as easy as possible. Look at your sales funnel and see what things you can cut, what things you can replace. Make it simple, make it easy, make it fun. Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. Over and out. See you guys tomorrow.